when people feel truly invited to share, they do reveal more than difference. They do show you what unites them. My question to you, especially those of you who run cities, is what could your city be if everyone in it felt truly heard? "5,000 kilometers away from where we are today is the city where I was born, Tehran. That's the capital city of Iran. Iran, not for the reasons that it's in the news right now, is key to why I'm standing in front of you today. I left with my family when I was 3 years old. I went back when I was 19, and one thing struck me more than anything else: silence. Not the absence of opinions. Actually, Iran's full of people that have things they desperately want to say, but just the utter lack of faith that anyone in government wants to hear from them, that the voice of people matters. And now I'm in front of you, leaders of your cities, and I imagine that you feel differently, that the voice of people matters to you. But I do want to check that. So I'm going to ask you to show me, by raising your hands, if it's important to you to hear from the people in the communities that you serve. Okay, that's beautiful. Keep your hands up. I love that you guys are raising your hands up there. Thank you. I see you and appreciate you. Keep your hand up if you are confident that you are indeed hearing from everyone in your community today and not just the loudest people. Yeah, okay. So that we just demonstrated is the listening gap, the fact that it's much harder to actually hear from people than our desire to hear from them. And this listening gap matters the most for cities. So at Jigsaw, we built a tool to address the listening gap for websites. So Perspective is the most popular free tool to moderate comment spaces online. It's used more than 1 billion times a day. But last year, we shifted our focus from addressing the listening gap in websites to addressing it in cities. And sense-making is what we're going to talk about. It is a way to reimagine the town hall. The first place where we took sense-making is a town that many of you may not have heard of. This is Bowling Green, Kentucky, a mid-sized American town of about 80,000 people, facing challenges. So Bowling Green is doubling in size over the next 2 decades. That's growth, jobs. But farmers are concerned that the land is going to be used for construction. Residents, some of them, are concerned about migration. In Bowling Green, Kentucky, the migration that they're worried about is not from foreigners, but from people from the neighboring state moving and diluting their culture. There are a lot of concerns. And I want to introduce you to this man, Doug Gorman. He is the judge executive of the county, which is basically like the mayor. And he asked the people of Bowling Green a question. He said, do we want this change to happen to us, or do we want it to happen for us? If we want it to happen for us, we have to come together around a shared vision for Bowling Green, which is really inspiring. Until you think about the barriers to coming together. So in a town of 80,000 people, how many people do you think typically show up for a town hall? I'm going to count here. 8. That is just you guys sitting in front of me in the front row. Just you guys, not even you guys. 8 people show up. So we wondered, why is it that people don't participate? Well, we asked them. This is a young college student in Bowling Green. We wanted to take him to a meeting of the City Planning Commission. He said, I can't go to that. I'm not a lawyer. He thought he wasn't qualified to participate. We took him, by the way, he talked, there were no lawyers. There were 2 sisters that we spoke to who had just resettled from Afghanistan to Bowling Green. The idea of participating in a public forum was completely unimaginable to them. And it kind of makes sense, right? If you don't think your voice matters, you're not going to use it. But we thought, what if we could build it like an invitation that would make people feel truly invited? So last year, we supported Doug and his team to host a large virtual town hall open to all residents to ask them all the same question, which is, what do you want from Bowling Green in the next 25 years. And we translated this invitation into 9 languages. We went to sports games and places of worship and supermarkets. We really wanted to get people to participate. How many people do you think showed up to the month-long town hall? Okay, so the baseline is 8. The options are 8, 80, or 800. So show of hands if you think 8 people came to our virtual town hall. Thank you. No, you guys are trolling me. 80. 80 people? Because that would be impressive. Or 800 people. 8,000 people. We went from 8 to 8,000 people participating in this town hall. They shared 4,000 proposals of what they want to see, and they weighed in 1 million times. If you put the proposals back to back on sticky notes and you laid them out in a straight line, they would span the entire length of the Bernabeu Stadium, twice. A la Madrid, am I right? OK, so Doug Gorman made this promise to his people. He said, if you use your voice, I will listen, which is literally not a promise that you can make and keep without AI. What is it that people talked about? And a lot of the stuff that you might imagine, the economy, infrastructure, housing. Were there any fringe opinions? Yeah, sure. In the food and agriculture area, there was a resident who proposed a law to make all restaurants include free ketchup packets in takeout meals. Okay? This person felt very strongly about this, and what is beautiful is that they felt welcome to share this idea in this town hall. They got 0 supporting votes, but the thing that's not so much of a joke is that that is democracy in practice, that person showed up. And indeed, the people in Bowling Green did feel that participating in democracy gave them more confidence that their voice matters and more hope about their future. As a community scales, the needs of the people to be heard don't change. And we know this because we tried doing sense-making at the level of the nation. So in We the People, we got a representative group from a very large polarized society, which is America, and we invited them to have a conversation about what it means to be American today. Once again, they shared 1.6 million words. That's 4 times as many words as are written in Don Quixote, so it's a lot. And once again, they came away feeling that their voice mattered and more hopeful about the future. You know who else's voice matters? Yours. All right, so we are going to try something that we actually haven't tried before, which is to have a real-time sense-making dialogue. We are a community, CityLab in Madrid, on April 28th, 2026. This group of people has never been together before. If this were a traditional conference, you would leave tomorrow evening having spoken to a maximum of 5% of the people here. Our goal with this experiment is for you to leave feeling that you've heard from 100% of the people. I'm going to invite my colleague, Angelo Carino, to come and help us run this experiment. But as he comes on, I just want you to show me again with your hands. I'm looking for all of you, if you're going to participate in this experiment and see if we can have a conversation amongst us. And OK, you guys are awesome. All right, welcome, Angelo.
All right. Everyone, it's a pleasure to be here today with all of you. For the next 7 minutes, I'd like you to talk, not to each other, but to our AI, actually. So please take out your phones and open the camera app. So go ahead and do that. Some people already do have their phones out. Yeah. All right. So normally, sense-making is used for policy-related questions. But today, keeping with the theme, we wanted to ask you about your city. You're going to receive 2 questions as you open the link. And you'll receive personally generated follow-up questions to each of those 2 questions. So we're going to ask you to answer 4 questions in total. And I'd really like you to participate generously. That means take the time to type out your thoughts and words and the reasoning behind them, and you can share in whatever language of your choice. The results of this experiment are going to be used to generate findings like what you just saw in the Bowling Green example, and we're going to share those findings back with you later today on stage. As with all of our work, your answers will be completely anonymous. We're only collecting the words you enter, not any data about you, and then we're also going to delete those words right after we present the report back to you. So with that, I'd like you to get started. Please scan the QR code and begin, and we're going to cue a timer and some music for you as well, and we'll give you some cues along the way, but please do participate. Thank you. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think I'll do it alongside them so I can help keep time. Awesome. Yeah. Have we moved on to checking emails now? I think most of us are. I think most of us are done, so I'm going to cut us a minute short, if that's okay. And really, thank you so much for taking part. I'm so excited to be able to share the results back with you soon. And we're going to hand it to our AI during this time to make sense of all of it. And we'll be back in a little bit. Thank you so much.
Cheers. We're back.
We are back. Let's get right into it. I'm not seeing what you are seeing behind me, so I'm going to improvise and pull out my phone if that's okay. All right. All right, let's get started. Let's dive right in. These floating things behind me are all of the words that you shared. They're your love letters to your city. Let me start by saying thank you. Over 700 of you in this room joined the conversation about what makes your city so special, and you had a lot to say. In just a few minutes of interacting with our AI interviewer, you shared over 100,000 words. That's equivalent to almost 100 hours of collective conversation. So this is going to be your first round of applause of many, so give yourself a round of applause for that. So you did your part. You used your voice. And that resulted in a lot of data for us. So our job was to make sense of it all. Since you were last on stage, we took all of your responses and analyzed and categorized it with Jigsaw's sense-making AI. What you're seeing here is a map of opinions built from the words you shared. So where does everybody sit within it? I'm sure you're curious. Let's explore. This is the magic of AI. So we distilled thousands of quotes into 6 key themes and over 50 sub-themes about what makes your city so special. The themes ranged from arts and creative expression, to economic accessibility and convenience, to natural landscapes and recreation, to cultural identity and heritage. All right. So first we showed you what the crowd was thinking. Step 2 is understanding the why behind the what. So let's zoom into cultural identity and heritage to take a look. Within it, you covered themes ranging from food and festivals to religion and landmarks. Here we see an opinion that celebrate cultural diversity through food, music, and neighborhood festivals. I'm going to read one specific quote from this group. There were many diverse quotes that supported this. My city has some of the best food in the world. The flavors of the local home-cooked meals create a sense of nostalgia and enjoyment unlike any other. By a show of hands, who in this room thinks their city has the best food? All right, we all think we have the best food, so that's not particularly surprising. Another said, the pizza is great. Just come to my city to try, and you'll be back sooner than you think. So I'm pretty sure a New Yorker wrote that one, or maybe an Italian. Jumping to a completely different part of the map, here's a really different opinion. Proximity to mountains and forests offer a necessary escape from the pressures of urban life. And a quote supporting it. My city's special sauce comes from the quiet times when I'm driving the back roads and seeing all the trees around me, calms me down and reminds me of the power of nature. That's a really beautiful one, and it goes to show you that there are many ways to love your city. So I want to show you one last thing. I could keep going forever, but we can't. When scanning all the data, one theme dominated the conversation, and that theme was community. The largest grouping on our topic map is that of community and social connection. And it was indeed a gold mine of opinion, so that's why we highlighted it in gold for you. Actually, references to community came up everywhere across the opinion map. And here you see every possible mention light up, even across other topics. More than half of you in this room talked about community and connection, talked about family, neighbors, home, tradition, legacy. And even when you were talking about food and outdoors earlier, you were actually talking about community. You love your parks and churches because they serve as family and social gathering spots. Music and sports are not just for fun, they're a way to bring people together in community and a sense of pride. As this quote shares, one of you even mentioned cooking as a way of connecting with your pain-in-the-butt suegra. That's mother-in-law in Spanish, so if we have some laughs, I'm sure it's for the Spanish speakers in the audience. I'm going to end on just community. From all around the world, the shared value of community connects us. None of us are here at CityLab because we care primarily about pavements or paperwork. We're here because we care about each other, we care about the people back home, and the belief that together we can build something special and better for all of us. So thank you, Madrid, for joining us in this experiment, for your words that created these visuals, and give yourself a round of applause.
When people feel truly invited to share, they do reveal more than difference. They do show you what unites them. So here, the common ground for us was community, which is really special. But the idea of common ground itself is not unique to this room. We saw it in Bowling Green. You will see it in Bowling Green when the slides catch up. But I didn't mention the real surprise was not the high participation. It was actually the high agreement. Of the 4,000 proposals that people shared, the majority of them had agreement from 80% of the participants. Similarly, in We the People, the majority of the summary statements generated had more than 76% of people agree with them. People do agree on more than they disagree. Like, we showed that in Bowling Green, we showed that across America, and we showed that also in this room. There's sometimes a story that we tell ourselves about cities, that they're too big or too divided or too complicated for anyone to agree on anything. But what we showed here is a different story. Actually, underneath the complexity and the politics and the problems, there are shared values. You can ask any mayor here today to check that that's true. When I went back to Iran at age 19, it occurred to me that if the act of listening could be engineered out of society, it could also be engineered back in. And that's the work. And based on everything I've seen, I believe it to be possible. So I'm going to leave you with one question. It's the question that Doug Gorman asked the people of Bowling Green. He said, what could Bowling Green be? My question to you, especially those of you who run cities, is what could your city be if everyone in it felt truly heard? Please go and find out. Thank you.